everybody, I'm Anthony.
And I'm Zane.
And it is August 13th, 2013, and it's the Dynamic Buzz! This is the latest intro ever! But yeah, every Tuesday we bring the latest in comic book news, along with our suggestions of the comics that came out will be coming out this week. Now, we don't have that much news, but we really want to get started with this episode.
Yep.
So, starting off with movie news.
We've gotten some new Guardian of the Galaxy movie clips in, which was actually quite exciting.
Yeah.
It looks great. It's going to be a little bit more tongue-in-cheek than our previous Marvel movies, and I'm all for it. They get to kind of have characters that have never been handled really, and make their own thing with it, and hopefully introduce people to the title in a great way. We've seen the new Nova troops, which look fantastic, kind of like the classic comic form, and almost like Judge Dredd. Yeah.
A nice little mix. We also got our first look at Rocket Raccoon shooting off his gun, and I mean, it looks really cool. They took out I thought they were going to give him more of an animated look, but I like the fact that he actually looks like a little raccoon with a little suit on. It's adorable.
Yeah.
But no, moving with Guardian of the Galaxy news, rumor has it that Vin Diesel will be playing the iconic character Groot.
And all he will say is Groot.
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
But no, this rumor started this weekend that during Disney D23, he posted a picture on his Facebook account, which he runs. It's not run by anyone else for him. He posted a picture of Groot. Now, I heard a lot of people talk about this where he might just be messing with people because he also did the whole, I went and met with Marvel and I have tunnel vision. You're a douchebag. You're a really awesome, muscular, action star douchebag. But no, it actually looks pretty promising that he could be Groot.
Yeah, and they've got a great lineup in this upcoming movie because we just also saw Nova Prime spoiled, and it's Glenn Close in the most ridiculous but amazing prosthetic face makeup. And, if they can get an actor of that caliber to wear face makeup for a role,
yeah,
I'm pretty stoked about the other things that they're going to do with this movie.
Yes, and there were a lot of images released of the set from London, from the Guardians of the Galaxy set, and when you got to see this huge, I'm trying to think of the right word I want to use for it, but you see a ton of different aliens, like Simpson-looking aliens, they're all humanoid-looking, which I think it'd be kind of cool if we saw some less humanoids, like something else, but I mean, it was cool that we get to see something different. It's not all humans. We're not going down the Star Trek kind of world where you see a bunch of humans. Just some humans have long ears, some people have bigger noses.
Yeah, there's lots of variety in color. There's a huge array of different sort of makeup jobs that do to subtly change a person, but more so than before with Star Trek. You said where just their eyes are sideways or they've got strange ears. We might see some of the varieties and forms once they do post and add in some CGI stuff.
Yeah, and I was going to say next was a lot of CGI has not been added yet. And so, but the fact that, in this day and age, usually you just wear a green suit and then they animate over you. And then, you look like an alien, but you can tell it's CG because you don't really fit in the background. At least with this, you have makeup and there's actually a base to it where you get a little bit more of this looks more realistic to me.
There's more practical effects, and I think that's great. I think they're probably going to tone down the Novas because from what it looks like, they're a little scrubbier than they were in the comic books. They're probably, I think, going to be a depowered police force in the galaxy, and I feel like Nova Prime is going to be almost like a warden or something like that.
Yeah. Well, either way, because I think the movie is supposed to be based that somehow Peter Quill is put into a prison, and then he and a bunch of their inmates break out together, and then they are the Guardians of the Galaxy. But yeah, I was excited for this movie, but I don't think until I saw these clips that I was like, oh, Avengers 2 can wait. I don't care anymore.
This is probably going to be one of the best science fiction movies, even beyond comic movies that we've had in a while. But yeah,
I'm excited about it. But we're going to move on with some more, not movie news, but TV news. An Arrow producer tweeted on last Thursday an image of a little diagram picture of a truck that said Metamorpho Chemicals. Now, for those who don't know, Metamorpho is a DC character who also is known as Element Man. There were different different origins or how he got his power, but one is he was exposed to this chemical from
in a tomb in Egypt
Yeah.
Under a pyramid. Although there's others, but that was my favorite.
But so he can manipulate other elements, and he was a founding member of the Outsiders.
Yep.
Okay, but so honestly, this is kind of cool. He will be a CGI character because this isn't a character that could vaguely be based in the real world. There's absolutely no realistic basis to this. There's more possibility of a speedster or a screeching woman than there is Metamorpho.
Yeah, he can turn himself into gas. He can change his molecular structure to be any element. That's why he's called the Elemental Man.
Mm-hmm.
So he can turn himself into like one of the noble gases and float through your doorway or something like that. And that was what he did most of the time in the Outsiders, where he would just turn into gas and sneak into an area that no one else could get to and open a door. I think he was kind of a one-trick pony there. So we'll see what they actually get to do with that if they go that route. It might just be an Easter egg.
Yeah, it might, like he said, it might just be a truck that says it. Because even if you guys remember back into Smallville, they reference Gotham City. And, they always talk about this rich guy in Gotham City, but we never saw Batman. So it could be one of those things. But no, I was telling Zane earlier that Arrow is going down a weird road. Before they were a show that was strictly in this realistic setting. We weren't going to have any superpowers, but now we're going to introduce the Flash, Black Canary, and now possibly Metamorpho. And I've even noticed that there could be a Green Lantern tie-in later on, because there was a Green Lantern, Green Arrow team-up series that happened back in the early 80s, 90s.
Yeah, no, that was in the 80s, and you could have gems like, oh no, Green Lantern, my sidekick, Speedy, is doing drugs!
Moving on to comic book news.
We get another return, and this one is in the Superior Spider-Man. We see Spider-Man 2099 coming back. By popular demand, he's returned to the series, and I'm really excited for this, not just because it's Spider-Man 2099, and I thought that was a great character update. I'm excited because this is the possibility of Doom 2099 seeing a return in the Marvel Universe. And hopefully not the Doom 2099 that was written by Robert Kirkman, because that one was awful. I hope they just ignored that continuity, because they're completely capable of doing that. Mm-hmm. I would hope that they look at the Warren Ellis stuff, where they did most of the reprints now even. They ignore so much of the other stuff and really focus on that Warren Ellis material, because it's fantastic. If you've never read it, pick it up. It has Captain America get reawakened in the future, made a puppet president, and stuck full of laughing gas. It's ridiculous, but it's also brilliant. And with the hope that he could show up again, I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope.
Yeah. Well, also we're talking about futuristic comics, and this is kind of sad news, I guess. Last Thursday, the artist for the Justice League 3000 comic, which everyone's been talking about and releasing images of, Kevin Maguire, has announced via Twitter that
like all news today.
announced that he was quote unquote fired, which he really wasn't fired. He later on said he was just taken off of this book, and they said that DC was actually going to put him on another project. We don't really know why, as of right now, he was taken off the book. We don't really want to use the word fired, because he's not, completely removed from DC.
Forcibly removed from the title.
Yeah, and this isn't the first time something like this has happened. This also happened with Gail Simone earlier this year, with Batgirl or Birds of Prey.
I believe it was Batgirl.
Batgirl.
I think it was just she was removed from all DC titles for a minute.
Yeah, and then that changed real quick, either by popular demand or it was just a show that DC decided to put on. But no, the title was originally supposed to come out in October of 2013, but now has been moved to December of 2013. So definitely stay tuned to the website and for our show, because as soon as we have a new artist, we'll let you know. It's kind of a bummer because the art looks really, really cool.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it already, look up Justice League 3000. The art is really amazing. It's like the concept artwork from video games, like the Mass Effect video games and things like that. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, it was just cool because it wasn't the traditional look. It wasn't all suits. Like with Green Lantern, she had a cloak, and it looked like the cloak was actually made out of the green construct.
Yeah, it was It reminded me of Ragman a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely keep posted. We'll post images and we'll send you links to check this out on our website. All right, well, we're going to move on to our comic book recommendations of the week coming out for tomorrow, which is Wednesday. All right, so Zane, what are your top 3 comics you're looking forward to?
All right, first we have Little Gotham, and this is Dustin Nguyen. His artwork is really slick. It's his watercolor stuff, and I just love Little Gotham because it's so lighthearted with all of this really heavy stuff going on in comic books. I like to have something that's just sort of a fluff read, but it's still well crafted and it's just a great quality book. It reminds me of the sort of lighthearted episodes of the Batman animated series, and that's why I really enjoy it. Everyone in the book is fairly consistent in how they're done. You don't really have to worry about a lot of like characters changing because of stories and things like that. They don't really worry about that. Like in the second issue, Mr. Freeze was just the Mr. Freeze from the animated series. That's how they characterized him. They didn't have to do anything with it.
Yeah.
Next up, I have Red Sonja, the Gail Simone issues. This is the second in that series. It's a limited series by Gail Simone, so I look forward to seeing that plot move forward because unfortunately for the first issue, it was definitely formatted like it was going to be a continuation of an overall arc. I look forward to being in a collected edition, but I also am ready for this next chapter. So I'm going to definitely check that out tomorrow. And then last we have Thor, God of Thunder. And that's Jason Aaron's take on the God of Thunder. And I am all about Jason Aaron. Easily, he's my favorite of the contemporary writers. His stuff on Ultimate Captain America was great. His stuff on Thanos recently were amazing. I loved his take on Punisher. He revitalized the Ghost Rider series a few years back. So definitely check out Thor. I think that Aaron's take on it is almost as good as J. Michael Straczynski's reboot, but still just really great stuff.
All right, well, my top 3 comics this week will obviously be Batman, issue 23. This is part 3 of Year Zero, the New 52's Batman origin, which everyone was really iffy about, but it ends up being this really deep, great story, and I've really enjoyed it so far. And Scott Snyder always has me just like, you're reading each page and you're jumping at each plot twist. But yeah, that's definitely one of my picks. Another of my 2 picks will go together, and that's Superior Spider-Man Team-Ups issue number 2 and the Scarlet Spider issue 20. They are going to be part of an event called Sibling Rivalry, where Kane, who is the Scarlet Spider, goes to New York to confront Peter Parker, who is actually Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Peter Parker. I was going to say mind control, but it's not. Who is actually Doc Ock in Peter Parker's body, and because he seems to be the only person who is actually. The Avengers kind of confront him and were like, "Oh, you're just stressed out. It's okay." You can have minions be a supervillain, obviously.
You're having a bad day, Spider-Man. It's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's going to be, I don't know how many parts to it there will be, but I know that the Superior Spider-Man Team-Up will be part 1 and Scarlet Spider will be part 2, and something will happen when they are interacting with each other and they will be attacked by the Jackal, and a plot will come from that, because I remember there being a hint that the Jackal was going to interact with Superior Spider-Man back in, I think it was Avenging Spider-Man issue 19 or something like that, because all the Spider-Mans kind of run together.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool how, they hint towards other arcs, but yeah, so that will be my 3 and 4. Also, my little 4th bonus is Justice League of America issue number 7. It will be part 4 of Trinity War. And that's definitely a little event that you should definitely check out.
Yeah, I was only excited by the Trinity War. In case anyone doesn't know about it, John Constantine at some point steals Shazam's powers and becomes super-powered Shazam Constantine. That was really cool. That one was really cool. So, yeah.
But the whole event so far has seemed to be really cool, and they're bringing awesome stuff. But no, let's read off a list of the comics that are coming out this week that we did not mention. One will be Grace Randolph's Superbia issue number 10. Obviously, Batman issue 23, Little Gotham issue 5, Constantine issue number 6, Demon Knights issue number 6, Green Lantern issue 23, JLA issue number 7, Katana issue number 7, Nightwing issue 23, Suicide Squad issue 23, Superboy issue 23. Oh, excuse me. Threshold issue 8, and I'm pretty sure this is the last issue of Threshold. Shame. World's Finest issue 15, Red Sonja issue 2, Saga issue 13, The Walking Dead issue 113, Avengers Arena issue 13, Deadpool issue 14, Fantastic Four issue 11, Fearless Defenders issue 8, Infinity issue 1. That's the start of a big Marvel event that's getting ready to kick off because they haven't had one lately. Scarlet Spider issue 20, Secret Avengers issue 7, Superior Spider-Man Team-Ups issue number 2, Thor God of Thunder issue 11, Ultimate Comics X-Men issue 30, and Uncanny X-Force issue 10. So,
wasn't X-Force at like 2 something last week?
I think that was a separate. Like this is the Marvel Now, and I can't keep up with the. At least with DC, they kind of reboot everything, and then Marvel was like, "We're gonna reboot just these." And okay, but yeah. So as always, check us out at our website www.thedynamicbuzz.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube. We do not have a MySpace, so don't look there. But yeah, definitely check us out. We post previews, we post blogs, we post latest news that we find and hear about, and rumors, just to keep the lips wet. But yeah, we're gonna do the show every Tuesday, and then we're gonna try to get a review out every Thursday. But reviews right now are kind of iffy, but we will definitely have a new video every Tuesday. So yeah, so as always, I'm Anthony.
And I'm Zane.
And this was The Buzz.